If you don't know what EDC is, I'm sorry to send you down this rabbit hole, but recently I've been fine-tuning my everyday carry or EDC, and I'm putting additional kits together to make sure I have the tools I need, where I need them, and when I need them. And the thing that sent me down this rabbit hole is this knife right here. This is called the Gerber Prybrid, and it really changed my mind about carrying a pocket knife. It uses a standard utility blade that I can change out in a matter of seconds, so it's always sharp and ready to cut into boxes, malt bags, hot bags, or anything else that comes up in the brewery. On the other side, it also has a pry bar with a nail puller, flathead screwdriver, bottle opener, and a hole to add a lanyard or cordage. It's just an all-around versatile tool to have in my pocket, and like I said, it sent me down the EDC rabbit hole. Having the right tool at the right time can be the difference between procrastination and getting shit done. And for me, I think it makes even mundane tasks like changing out tap lines somewhat enjoyable. This knife, or another one we'll see in a second, stays in my front pocket pretty much at all times. Now, let's quickly run through the rest of my EDC before we check out some other tools I keep close by in the brewery. Next up is a pair of Bluetooth headphones. The brand isn't important, but man, the right song or podcast can just put me in the right mood and heading down a path to get shit done. They block out some noise in the brewery, they don't interfere with filming. Headphones are definitely a must for my EDC. Next is my phone, and again, the brand doesn't matter, but I'm sure like most of you guys, I'm using this thing all the time to view recipes, take photos, look shit up, and stay connected. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Similarly, I'm carrying my keys just like all of you, and I carry them on this key loop from Topo Designs that just helps me organize my pockets. It clips to my belt loop and stays out of the way. Next is my back pocket staple, a bandana. I've been carrying one of these every day for years, and it's wild how often it comes in handy. I can clean up small spills, use it to grab something hot, wipe some sweat, blow my nose, soak it in cold water to cool myself down, and tons of other things. It's a way of life, y'all. Bandana in the back pocket at all times. And the other back pocket holds my ancient bifold wallet. I've been using this thing for seriously close to 20 years. It's in desperate need of replacement, but what I wanted to mention is that I feel like you should never buy a man a wallet unless they specifically told you which one they want. And Meg, if you're watching, I've got my eye on the Travax Summit wallet in OD green. So this right here is my full carry. I don't usually wear a watch. I don't carry a multi-tool or a pen. It's usually just this stuff right here. And I say usually because I just picked up an alternative to the Gerber Prybrid. This is the Civivi Mini Praxis with a black D2 steel blade and green G10 scales. This is an awesome little flipper with a tip-up deep carry pocket clip, and it's slowly beating out the Gerber Prybrid. It's almost like a little fidget toy with the way it opens, and it just fits my hand absolutely perfect. The only thing is, it doesn't have a pry bar. So that's where this thing comes into play. This is the mighty bar from Gearspool, and it has exactly what the Mini Praxis is missing, a pry bar. It's tiny, durable, and even doubles as a flathead. When it's not in my pocket, it's hanging nearby in the brewery. So that's it for my pocket dump, but like I said in the beginning, I also want to show you a few things I keep out in the brewery for quick access. And I should mention I've added links to all this stuff in the description so you don't have to hunt it down if you're curious to check it out. The thing I'm most excited about right now is the tiny 4-inch Cobra XS pliers from Knipex. These things live out in the open on my desk within arm's reach of just about everything in the brewery, and the more I use them, the more I love them. On the smallest setting, they're perfect for 1/4-inch pipe clamps. Midway, I use them to adjust my grain mill, and they get so wide, I can even use them to swap out CO2 tanks in the kegerator. The biggest complaint I've heard about these is they're so small, you can't get a good grip to do real work, but I just haven't found that to be true. I can easily grip the handle with my full fist and get enough leverage for everything I run into in the brewery. Look how stinking sharp those teeth are. The Knipex Cobras stay within arm's reach. Next up, this little battery from Anchor keeps me charged up and cord free while knocking out tasks in the brewery. The last thing I need is a cord getting snagged while I'm brewing and launching my phone to the ground. It attaches with a magnet to the back of my phone and wirelessly charges it up. It also doubles as a kickstand both vertically and horizontally, and it has a battery life indicator to tell you how much juice is left. It's 5,000 milliamp hours, which is plenty to get me through days where I need to use my phone a lot. This was the Anchor 622 MagGo. Another thing I keep close by is a 2 decimal scale. The brand doesn't matter at all, but in my opinion, it's absolutely critical that it's 2 decimal. I used to use another scale that only had 1 decimal place, and I really just couldn't trust it for accurate water adjustments, and even with hops, it just didn't seem accurate enough. This one isn't any more expensive, and it's definitely accurate enough for brewing. 2 decimal scale, a must-have in the brewery. Just a couple more things here, and next up is my pH meter. A pH meter isn't something you want to skimp out on, but you also don't have to break the bank. This is the pH 20 by APRA, and it helps me dial in my pH during the mash, the boil, and in the final product. Super easy to use and super easy to calibrate with another must-have in the brewery, buffer solution. I tend to kind of go through this stuff because I'm constantly calibrating the pH meter. And if that makes you wonder when the last time was you calibrated yours, man, order this shit right now. I'm telling you, keep your pH meter in check. All right, this is kind of the last go-to tool, but I have a couple honorable mentions. This is the FJ Dynamics refractometer. This was sent to me for free, and I honestly thought it was a gimmick at first, but the more I use it, the more I love it. For the price, this thing is pretty awesome. It's completely digital, so you don't have to hold it up to your eye or anything, and other than that, it works just like any refractometer you've seen. Drop a small sample of wort on the sensor, push the button, and out comes a gravity reading. And like all good things, it charges with USB-C. Okay, real quick, a couple honorable mentions that maybe aren't quite tools, but I keep them close by. First is this BREWBUILT 10 milliliter pipette. Not much to say other than it crushes these shitty little plastic ones because number 1, it holds up to high temps, and number 2, it's much easier to clean. And the last thing I'm gonna mention, make fun of me if you want, is O'Keeffe's working hands. Between Star San and PBW, even when I'm diligently wearing gloves, my hands are jacked up by the end of the brew day. This stuff is a great preventative measure and remedy when things go south. Plus, it doesn't smell weird or leave your hands feeling sticky. Now, of course, I use a bunch of other tools in the brewery, but those are the things I carry and keep close by. And guys, I'm still deep in this rabbit hole, so I'm curious what you think I'm missing out on. So let me know in the comments what you're using on the regular or carrying in your pockets to knock out tasks in the brewery. My name's Dan, this is Hops and Gnarly. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you again soon.